Tennessee found its rhythm behind the three-point line. This game against Syracuse was no longer a close one. Tennessee ran away with it in this SEC-ACC challenge to start 8-0 on the year. So how did they get to that 96-70 final? Well, we'll get to that and 3 things to know following their win at home against the Orange. I'm Paige Stoward. This is the Field Pass on Full Disclosure. The first thing to know following Tennessee's win over Syracuse was the defense was absolutely fueling the offense for the Vols tonight. And you saw that especially early in the game where Tennessee was struggling to find its first few points of the game. And it was in that moment, too, where the defense set up the offense. We saw a Chaz Lanier steal. He dishes it to Zakai Ziegler. And then his three-point try was no good, but it was Felix Akpara that was there in the sweet spot to tap it in for the dunk to give Tennessee its first few points on the night. We saw that a couple of plays later, too, where it's another steal, maybe a missed three-pointer, but then you had someone down there in the post to help out with the offensive rebounding to convert for points as well. But then we saw, and we know basketball is a game of runs, where Tennessee went on a near 5-minute scoring drought towards the end of the first half. But what ended that scoring drought was once again the defense feeding the offense. It was Igor Milicic. He was able to get his hand in the pocket, force the turnover, then the ball's loose on the ground. He scrambles for it, recovers it, dishes it to Zakai Ziegler, and then from the top of the arc, he sinks the triple try, and Tennessee absolutely had the exclamation point moment there. And after the game, Rick Barnes says that having those moments is crucial to the game. To have plays that disrupts an offense, whether it's a defensive rebound or it's a pick that you kind of get in that moment where you're forcing a steal and forcing a turnover, are absolutely vital to a game. So that's one thing to know. The second thing to know is Cade Phillips had a phenomenal night off the bench. He's someone that we have highlighted a number of times throughout the season, and if you've listened to the press conferences, they've kind of been showering him with compliments since the offseason as someone who is not afraid of the challenge. He mentioned earlier in the season that, he didn't miss any time off because he stayed here on Rocky Top and just was in the gym constantly. You saw that transpire on the court tonight against Syracuse, where he started the game 5 of 5 from the field before missing his final shot going into halftime to be 5 of 6 in the first half. He had solid defensive boards for the team as well, had a couple of really nice dunks as well. And Coach Rick Barnes says that we're watching him develop right in front of us. After the game, Cade Phillips said that his ability to be out there has only, helped him with his confidence. He feels so much more comfortable being out there, but he knows that there's so much more to get. He is certainly someone to keep an eye out tonight, because heading into halftime, he had a quick 10 points, and he was just 2 behind Chaz Lanier leading the team in scoring. And there's a number of Vols tonight that ended the night in double-digit scoring. So he is someone that, whether he's out there when Felix Akpara is, or you have another big out there, they are able to make and create really nice space for this team. And the next evolution of Cade Phillips is seeing him shoot from other areas on the court. We saw a couple mid-range jumpers tonight, but as far as his shooting ability goes, that is something that we'll still see him continue to develop, as that is the challenge that Rick Barnes has to him. He says he's not afraid of the challenge, but we definitely want to see the shooting get a little bit better, and you see that confidence growing with Cade Phillips, especially after tonight's game. So a part of his offensive efficiency and production was also seen across the board for Tennessee, maybe more so in the second half. So the third thing to know is the triples were raining down tonight. The three-point shooting started a little rough to start the game. You'd wondered if that was going to be an aspect of the game that would cost Tennessee a win. I mean, they started about 2 of 15 on the night in the first half, and it was funny. Rick Barnes after the game was like, we were shooting these three-pointers really well to start in the warm-ups, and I was kind of worried that how well we were shooting the threes in the warm-ups. Did we just run out of all of our threes? Were we going to use up all our good 3 shots by the time the game got around? And how they looked in the first half, we certainly thought they used up all their good threes in warm-ups. But then after, settling back in during halftime and not being as anxious, as Rick Barnes will call it, in the second half, you saw that absolutely turn around in the second half. They ended the night 8 of 15 from the three-point line in the second half. Part of that was Chaz Lanier absolutely turning it on. He did not have a single 3 in the first half, and then was 4 of 5 from the 3 in the second half to go get 26 points on the night. Just the third time this season he's had 20 plus points. Then Tennessee ends with about a 34% clip on the three-point line, and they're just 2 behind their season high in three-pointers with 12 when they had that against Baylor. So their ability to continue to find the good shots, whether on the fast break or an inside-out kind of movement, which we saw a number of times tonight, was definitely a good thing to see, that they were able to settle back in. Chaz Lanier said, his first half to second half performance, it was just shooting. You just have to continue to have the confidence that the next one's going to go in, and that's certainly how he felt. Same thing with Jordan Gainey. He had a really good night too, but that would be point number 4, and I only promised 3 points tonight. But thank you all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and we will be back Wednesday as the Lady Vols are taking on FSU for their first Power Conference match, which if you were tuned in earlier today on Full Disclosure, you saw that pregame report ahead of tomorrow. But until then, I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Talk to you then.